want you to listen to some music lyrics, and I warn you that the lyrics are shocking and offensive to some and very, very, very explicit.
Much of this I can't even say on television, but I want to read some of this to you. So what about the that got shot? F her. You think I care about a I ain't a sucker.
Right.
It was supposed to be another daytime TV moment, a clash between mainstream media and hip-hop. But the day Oprah tried to put Eazy-E on the spot, things didn't go the way she planned.
The lyrics are shocking and offensive to some and very, very, very explicit. But these are the lyrics of much of today's popular music.
Viewers say this was the day she picked the wrong rapper to publicly shame on live television. Eazy didn't flinch, he didn't fold.
You might end up dead. You might end up in jail. So it's telling you, if you decide to be a gangbanger, you're gonna do this, you're gonna go out and do this, you might end up dead or you might end up in jail.
Instead, he left audiences shocked by how calm, unbothered, and even sarcastic he remained.
Right.
Songs
That's
titled...
not talking about women, though.
Some say this single moment showed that the media's attacks on rap could backfire. Chapter 1. Eazy-E and N.W.A. The wrong rapper to challenge. Back in 1990, N.W.A. had already become a national sensation. Their music, raw and unapologetic, told the story of life in Compton, shining a light on struggles that many people hadn't seen before. Songs like F the Police caused debates across the country, with some calling them a cultural voice and others labeling them a public threat. When the daytime queen sat down with Eazy-E, the goal seemed clear: challenge him, question his lyrics, and provoke a reaction on live TV.
And this next group calls itself N.W.A, which stands for with Attitudes. Their album, Straight Outta Compton, went platinum. 1 million copies sold in just 6 weeks.
Eazy-E, whose real name is Eric Wright, had built his reputation on honesty and street awareness. He wasn't the type to over-explain or apologize for what he lived through. During the interview, he calmly addressed pointed questions, redirecting the conversation toward the realities of inner-city life, systemic issues in Compton, and the scrutiny that the police placed on black communities. Fans widely discussed this as one of the first moments a rapper openly refused to be shamed on daytime television. Some conspiracy theories suggest that the network underestimated Eazy-E's composure, expecting him to be intimidated or defensive, but instead, he stayed in control, making interviewers uncomfortable while teaching the audience about the environment that shaped N.W.A. Even though nothing is confirmed, all evidence points towards this moment as a pivotal moment that highlighted tensions between media portrayal, hip-hop culture, and law enforcement. Fans often say that this episode set a blueprint for future artists, showing the importance of preparation, composure, and controlling one's narrative. Eazy-E's performance demonstrated that hip-hop artists could stand their ground on mainstream platforms without compromising their message. It wasn't just a TV moment, it was a cultural statement, proving that rappers could educate audiences, push back against unfair criticism, and maintain dignity under pressure. In the end, the interview didn't humiliate him. Instead, it showcased the strength and intelligence behind his persona. It was a turning point in hip-hop media history, one that inspired later generations of artists to handle interviews with awareness, strategy, and authenticity. Chapter 2. 50 Cent, a modern-day clash. One of the most well-known clashes between the network and a rapper involved 50 Cent. Their tension played out publicly, and 50 didn't hold back when calling out the host. Fans widely discuss how this moment reflected broader frustrations within hip-hop artists feeling misrepresented, criticized, or dismissed by mainstream media. Some conspiracy theories suggest that this feud highlighted selective criticism, especially toward black rappers, compared to other public figures. Early in his rise, 50 Cent wanted the kind of mainstream approval that came from being featured on the show. For him, it wasn't just fame, it was personal. Growing up in Jamaica, Queens, hustling on the streets, he wanted to prove to himself, his family, and especially his grandmother, that he was building a legitimate career. But when his team pitched the appearance, he was denied. According to him, the network was completely against everything that was in his music, signaling that he would never get that platform. Fans widely say that rejection didn't silence him, it fueled him. 50 Cent went on the offensive, mocking the host publicly, critiquing her fan base, and even naming a dog after her. It was a bold, direct way to reclaim control of the narrative.
I heard you have
You have a dog named Oprah.
Yeah.
Some conspiracy theories suggest that this act of defiance demonstrated a key lesson. Mainstream platforms could be challenged, and rejection could be turned into visibility and influence. Over time, the tension eased, and 50 Cent and the host eventually reconciled, but he never compromised his perspective or the authenticity of his music. As he explained in interviews, while some called his lyrics violent or misogynistic, he framed them as reflections of real-life experiences. He argued that art mirrors life, and that his music was a personal expression of the hardships he endured, including being shot 9 times. Fans widely discussed this as a moment that reinforced the importance of artistic freedom, storytelling, and the right to control one's own narrative. In the end, 50 Cent's clash with the network became more than a feud. It became a lesson in resilience, media strategy, and personal authenticity. It highlighted how rejection could be transformed into power, teaching not just him, but countless artists after him that standing firm in one's truth could be a path to cultural influence. Chapter 3. DMX, Feeling Set Up. DMX was another artist who faced unexpected challenges when dealing with mainstream media. He agreed to appear on a show thinking the conversation would focus on one topic, but the interview quickly shifted. Suddenly, questions about personal struggles and his children came up, subjects he hadn't agreed to discuss. Fans widely believe that being blindsided like this created tension on set and left DMX feeling manipulated. Instead of sticking to what was planned, Iyanla flipped the script. She started grilling him about his drug addiction, something DMX wasn't prepared to talk about and definitely didn't agree to discuss on camera. The questions caught him completely off guard. He felt blindsided, like he'd been set up. And if you know anything about DMX, you know he wasn't about to just sit there and let that slide. He went off on Iyanla right there on the show. The vibe shifted quick from what was supposed to be a healing conversation to a full-blown clash.
I'm tired of hearing that same sad story that you've been saying. We need to get to the bottom. What's the real problem? Like, I'm telling you the real problem. No. Are you high right now? What? Lady, what are you talking about now?
After the episode aired, DMX's public statements made it clear that he felt the situation was unfair. Many fans say this moment showed how media platforms sometimes prioritize drama and ratings over genuine conversation or understanding. Even though nothing is confirmed, all evidence points toward a culture where artists were often put in uncomfortable positions for the sake of entertainment. Some conspiracy theories suggest that this experience affected DMX's willingness to appear on certain shows in the future. It made him more cautious and aware of how easily an interview could be turned into something he didn't expect. Fans say that moments like this were a wake-up call for hip-hop artists, teaching them to approach media with strategy and preparation. In the end, DMX's experience highlights the challenges rappers faced when trying to share their stories. It wasn't just about answering questions, it was about navigating a system that could twist appearances, control narratives, and turn honest conversations into controversy. Chapter 4. Ludacris, Language and Misunderstanding. In 2005, Ludacris had a surprising encounter with a network that caught a lot of fans off guard. This wasn't a long-standing feud. It happened during the promotion for the movie Crash. Ludacris and the cast were invited to talk about the film, and he expected the discussion to stay focused on his role. Instead, Oprah shifted the topic entirely, calling out Ludacris for the language in his music, especially his use of the N-word. Fans say this was part of a bigger trend, hip-hop artists being judged in ways unrelated to the reason they were invited on the show.
Yeah, and basically she said something about not agreeing with my music, but she thought I did great in the movie. And of course I was up there with the whole cast of Crash, and so I didn't necessarily felt like that needed to be said. You know, you didn't agree with my music, and even if you don't agree with certain songs I made, say you don't agree with certain songs, don't say you just don't agree with all of my music. Right.
Ludacris remained calm on camera, but later explained his frustration. In interviews, he said, "I was there for Crash, the movie, and basically she said something about not agreeing with my music, but she thought I did great in the movie." His comments reflected the irritation of being criticized for his lyrics while promoting an unrelated project. The situation was made worse because his response during filming was cut from the final broadcast. When the episode aired, it seemed like he had accepted the criticism without defending himself. Ludacris later said, "She was able to say what she said, and then I had my rebuttal. And when I saw the final show, her words were in there, but mine weren't in there. So it just looked like I kinda took it." Fans see this as an example of how selective editing can shape public perception.
she was able to say what she said, and then I had my rebuttal. And when I saw the final show, her comments were in there.
Right, was in there, but yours wasn't in there.
And mine weren't in there, so it just looked like I kind of took it.
Some conspiracy theories suggest this kind of editing was common when dealing with hip-hop artists, amplifying criticism while silencing their voice. Even though nothing is confirmed, the evidence points to a media environment where artists had to be careful, knowing the final broadcast might not reflect their side of the story. Ultimately, Ludacris's experience became a lesson in staying composed and controlling one's narrative. It showed that even when misrepresented or edited unfairly, hip-hop artists could maintain dignity, push back publicly, and highlight how media treated their culture. Chapter 5: Ice Cube, The Gatekeeping Tour. Ice Cube's story shows another side of the tension between hip-hop and mainstream culture. Even though he had contributed a lot to Hollywood and culture, he noticed that he was often left out of big platforms and popular shows. Fans say he was blocked from talking about projects like Barbershop or other shows he produced, even when other cast members were invited. Many believe this happened because his independent perspective didn't fit what the network wanted. Some fans think this wasn't just about one show or one project. Some conspiracy theories suggest that there was a pattern of blocking independent voices while giving attention to artists who follow the expected script. Even though nothing is proven, all evidence points towards a media landscape that encouraged conformity, making it harder for outspoken or non-traditional artists to get the same exposure as others. Ice Cube didn't stay quiet about it. He spoke openly about being excluded, pointing out the inconsistencies and unfair treatment. This wasn't just about personal frustration. It was part of a bigger struggle in hip-hop where artists had to decide whether to go along with mainstream expectations or defend their independence.
That they never want to have me on their platform again.
What platforms have banned you?
I've been I tried to go on The View. They didn't have me on The View.
Fans say his approach inspired others to think carefully about how they engaged with the media, teaching them the importance of protecting their message and staying true to their voice. In the end, Ice Cube's experience reminds us that media power isn't just about opportunity, it's about control. His refusal to compromise highlighted the tension between the culture of hip-hop and the expectations of mainstream platforms, showing that staying independent often came with costs, but also with respect and credibility.
It's just when I've became an independent thinker, when I've, I'm not, I don't follow their brand of politics, I guess.
Chapter 6: Jay-Z, A Contrasting Relationship. When it came to Jay-Z, things looked very different compared to how other hip-hop artists were treated. His interactions with the network seemed smoother, almost friendly. He was praised publicly and given opportunities that other artists with controversial lyrics or messages didn't always get. Fans often point to this as a clear example of selective treatment in mainstream media. Some people believe that factors like business partnerships, charisma, or careful media strategy may have played a role in why Jay-Z received more favorable treatment. Even though nothing is confirmed, all evidence suggests that his relationship with the network was very different from the experiences of artists like Eazy, 50 Cent, or DMX. This difference raised questions among fans about fairness and consistency. Why were some artists criticized heavily for their content, while others were celebrated or given leeway? Some conspiracy theories suggest that media platforms were more likely to support artists who aligned with certain business interests or public images. Regardless of the reasons, Jay-Z's experience shows a contrast in how hip-hop voices were treated in mainstream media. It also highlights the complicated relationship between artists, their image, and the platforms that could either promote or challenge them. Many fans see this as an example of how media decisions were not always consistent and how access and approval could depend on factors beyond just the music. Chapter 7: Tupac, The Unspoken Tension. Tupac didn't have a widely publicized clash with the network, at least not in the same way as Eazy or 50 Cent, but fans often talk about the subtle tension that seemed to follow him in media appearances. His interviews, public statements, and the way he presented himself suggest that he was very aware of how he was being watched and judged. Some fans believe that the way the network treated Eazy, N.W.A, and other rappers may have influenced Tupac's own approach to mainstream media. Even though he had charisma and confidence, he seemed careful in interviews, knowing that one wrong answer could be blown out of proportion. Even though nothing is confirmed, all evidence points to the idea that media scrutiny created pressure for artists like Tupac. It shaped how they talked about their lives, their music, and their experiences both on camera and in public. Fans say that understanding this tension is key to seeing how Tupac and many other hip-hop stars learned to balance honesty with caution, maintaining their message without giving critics too much ammunition. In the end, Tupac's media strategy shows that artists were not just performing music, they were navigating a complicated world of public perception, where one interview could affect the reputation, career, and even safety. Chapter 8: Public Perception and Media Hypocrisy. Over the years, fans began to notice a clear pattern in how the media treated hip-hop artists. Rappers were often criticized for violent or explicit lyrics, while other controversial figures, sometimes with serious accusations, were given platforms and praise without facing the same level of scrutiny. Many fans pointed out that this felt unfair, a double standard that didn't seem to make sense. Some people believe this selective attention sent a message. Hip-hop culture was dangerous, problematic, or something to be corrected, while other types of controversy were treated as acceptable or even admirable. Even though nothing is proven, all evidence points toward media coverage that focuses more on drama and conflict than on understanding the true experiences and messages of these artists. Fans often say that this approach shaped public perception of hip-hop in ways that went beyond music. It made some artists seem threatening or out of control, while others could thrive under the same media system. Some conspiracy theories suggest that the networks and shows knew this would create tension, generate ratings, and keep viewers engaged, all while shaping a narrative that painted hip-hop in a negative light. In the end, the way the media treated rappers compared to other public figures left a lasting impression on both artists and fans. It highlighted the power of media narratives, showing that not all stories are treated equally, and that how something is presented can matter as much as the truth behind it. Chapter 9: Impact on Hip-Hop and Legacy. All these encounters with media platforms had a big impact on hip-hop and how artists handled the spotlight for years to come. Eazy-E in particular set an example. He showed that even in tough, uncomfortable interviews, it was possible to stay calm, be confident, and take control of your own story. He didn't let the questions or the cameras shake him, and that taught other rappers a lot about standing their ground. Later, artists like 50 Cent, Ludacris, DMX, and Ice Cube watched closely. They saw how Eazy-E managed the attention, handled criticism, and stayed true to himself. These lessons helped them figure out how to deal with mainstream media without losing their authenticity. They learned when to speak, when to stay quiet, and how to guide conversation so that their message came across the way they wanted. Fans often point out that this boldness became a blueprint for hip-hop culture. Stay authentic, control your story, and don't let the media tell you who you are. Some conspiracy theories even suggest that all the pressure from TV shows and networks actually made artists stronger. It gave them more credibility, more respect from their fans, and more influence within their communities than if they simply follow the media's script. In short, these moments weren't just interviews. They were lessons in power, strategy, and cultural strength. They showed that hip-hop artists could survive the spotlight, shape their own narrative, and leave a lasting mark on the music and the culture. Chapter 10: Reflection: The Day Everything Changed. Looking back, the interview with Eazy-E stands out as one of the most important moments in hip-hop and media history. It wasn't just about TV ratings or creating controversy, it was about power, respect, and refusing to be pushed around by a television show. Eazy-E showed that a rapper could speak for himself, stay calm, and not let the media tell his story for him. Fans often say that this day marked a real turning point. It showed the tension between media control and artist freedom. Before this, many rappers felt they had to answer or apologize to mainstream platforms, but Eazy-E proved that it was possible to hold your ground, be honest, and still connect with audiences. Even though nothing is confirmed, all evidence suggests that this interview influenced how hip-hop artists approach TV and other media appearances. Later, rappers learned the importance of being ready for tough questions, staying compromised, and keeping control of the conversation. They saw how a confident response could protect their image and even earn respect from fans. In the end, this moment is remembered not as a failure or humiliation, but as a clear win for hip-hop culture. It was an early example of rappers refusing to bow down to mainstream pressure, showing they could set their own rules and defend their voice. Many fans believe that Eazy-E's boldness that day helped shape the way artists handle media interactions even today. Chapter 11: The Ripple Effect: Media Pressure and Artist Strategy. The experiences of Eazy-E, 50 Cent, DMX, Ludacris, and Ice Cube didn't just stay isolated. They created a ripple effect across hip-hop.
But I've been excluded. I've been excluded on Oprah, you know.
On Oprah?
On Oprah, yeah, I've been excluded. I don't know what it is, but, you know, several of my, you know, I had a movie called Barbershop, you know.
Yeah, I remember.
That I wasn't invited to participate with the cast.
After witnessing how mainstream media could ambush, misrepresent, or selectively edit interviews, many artists became far more strategic about their appearances. Fans say these encounters taught the industry an unspoken rule: never go into a televised conversation unprepared and always assume your words could be twisted. Some conspiracy theories even suggest that media pressure indirectly shaped the business side of hip-hop. Labels and managers began coaching artists extensively before interviews, emphasizing message control, narrative focus, and timing. Even though nothing is confirmed, all evidence points toward a shift in strategy, where interviews became as much about image management as promotion of music. Beyond strategy, the ripple effect influenced collaborations and public messaging. Fans widely discuss how artists started to communicate through controlled channels like music videos, press releases, and later, social media, minimizing the risk of misrepresentation. For instance, after seeing the public backlash surrounding Ludacris and DMX, emerging artists took cues from their peers and avoided high-risk interviews without proper preparation. The ripple also extended to broader hip-hop culture. Communities recognized that mainstream scrutiny wasn't just about music. Fans say that by observing these high-profile clashes, hip-hop became more self-aware, teaching new generations that media exposure could be both a tool and a trap. Some conspiracy theories reveal that this heightened awareness helped artists turn challenges into opportunities, using media controversy to spark conversation, build their fan base, and amplify their messages. In the end, these events reshaped how hip-hop approached media. Interviews became strategic performances, publicity plans became more intricate, and artists learned to protect their autonomy. The ripple effect shows that even uncomfortable or hostile media interactions could have a positive long-term impact, teaching resilience, media literacy, and the importance of narrative control. Many fans believe this chapter in hip-hop history laid the groundwork for today's savvy, media-conscious artists, proving that when handled wisely, pressure could be transformed into power.